And we're back, everyone. Go check it out, Fantastic Plus on the App Store. Parents, download it for your kids. It's great. All right, so Rebecca, before we went into your sponsor break, we are talking about ego death and taking drugs and going to the Amazon. Like, yeah, it can totally. I understand how it can totally feel scary for some people. Would you say?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to also elaborate a little bit so that is one way that people talk about experiencing ego death. But there are other things that can happen that can make a person completely feel the need to like shed their identity. So it could be maybe your identity was really tied up in a job that you had. And that's like, you're like, this is who I am. And then one day you lose that job for whatever reason. That could be an ego death, or it could be a relationship. But it's really like the shedding of who you thought you were and your own perception of yourself.
Okay, so
frightening, but can be powerful.
Writing, but can be powerful. So it can happen when you lose a job or something that you feel is part of you. Maybe even a relationship. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but isn't that that's not sitting well with me, because if you feel like you're losing part of who you are because you lost a relationship or you lost a job, you probably don't know who you are then.
Well, yes. I mean, I think that's why people think, or, why it can be beneficial experience. Obviously, like most people don't want to lose a job that's made them, that they've wrapped their whole identity around. So maybe a more like psychedelics might be or like an intense meditative experience might be a more pleasant way to experience it, but it can happen from a number of different things. Like you can experience ego death from the loss of a loved one. It's anything really that kind of causes you to drop your defense mechanisms and loosen your self-concept. So you realize that you're not just your roles or accomplishments. Like there's something deeper to you and who you are.
Would you say that we all need to go through those things during our lifetime, or is perfectly normal and perfectly healthy to never experience any ego death throughout one's life, and that's also fine?
I mean, I would argue that throughout life, we all experience mini ego deaths. Like for everyone, there are pieces of our identity that we shed as we go along. Like, you graduate from school and you're no longer a high school student. That's a little bit of an ego death. Or you break up with somebody. You're no longer, you grow apart from a group of friends. Like so there are small ego deaths, and then there are ego deaths that can feel all encompassing and overwhelming and just a complete rehaul of your entire life. And so, I don't know that everyone experiences it or that everyone needs to experience it, but I do think it can be beneficial for those who do experience.
Can we interchangeably replace, that's how you say interchange, can we just replace ego death with maturing? Does that make sense? or those are completely different things?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's maturing or transforming. It's almost like the psychological equivalent of molting. You're like kind of shedding a skin.
Okay.
Um, and okay, so here's, I don't know, are you a fan of Taylor Swift?
Oh. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm a Swiftie. I don't know. I never heard any of her songs, but I know her. She's pretty huge.
Yeah. So like in one of her songs, um, she starts it by saying like, "Oh, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead." It's like there's like the old me and then there's the new me. And something will typically happen that causes somebody to let go of the old me.
Wow. I think Elton John did the same thing. His real name is not Elton John. Do you know about this one?
Yeah.
Is that the case?
I don't know actually what
Yeah.
but that, you know, checks out. I think it's something that artists are particularly gifted at talking about and putting into words.
His original name was Reginald Kenneth Dwight. It's not very. I can see how it would not sell a lot of discs.
Tickets, yeah.
All right. But that's very, very interesting. But isn't that in some way dissociation?
I would not say that it is necessarily disassociation. I think of ego death more as it's like in ego death, your perspective tends to expand and you see the world as more kind of like interconnected. So if anything, it's like you're more present. Whereas disassociation is more like you are not there in that moment. I mean, so there's disassociation, like feeling like you're not where you are. And then there's disassociation, like there's dissociative identity disorder, where there are multiple pieces of you that kind of can take over. So that used to be called multiple personality disorder. It's now referred to as dissociative identity disorder. But it's almost as though in one body there are multiple different people that come to the front at different times.
And how do we know that's not the case with Taylor Swift?
It's a good question. I mean, we don't necessarily, but I think with Taylor Swift, she was referring to kind of something had happened and she was choosing to let it all go and let go of who she thought she was. She also, so she's somebody that's lived in the public eye and she demonstrates a pretty consistent personality. So I would be surprised to find out that she has dissociative identity disorder. Typically, somebody with that will, different identities will take over at different times, and they oftentimes don't have a lot of control over who's in charge at any given moment, what part of them is in charge at any given moment.
I see. Okay, that's a completely okay. I can see how that is not Taylor Swift case because she's okay. Okay, now I get it. Have you seen this movie called Split?
Yes, yeah.
Is that the case?
I think yes. I believe if we're thinking of the same movie, that is dissociative identity disorder. Let me look up to think. It's the one where the guy that
It's with James
um
McAvoy.
yeah, yep, Split. That is about someone with dissociative identity disorder.
Is it real? Like the way it's presented, it's like on a blink of an eye.
It